until vision loss has occurred.
I was diagnosed with normal tension glaucoma in July of 2020. And what we found out at that point was I had already lost 40% of my sight. And you think it only affects people that are, 75 or older, retired, grandparents, and that's not the reality of it.
I didn't think at all glaucoma was going to affect me because I didn't know of anyone that had glaucoma, no one in my family. When you have glaucoma, you can't get back that sight that you lost. And so early detection and treatment is vitally, vitally important.
Don't miss life's most beautiful moments. Schedule an eye exam today.
National Glaucoma Research, a Bright Focus Foundation program, offers free resources and tips for healthy vision.
Learn how to protect your sight at stopglaucoma.org.
All of your favorite 1017 The Truth content whenever you want. The Truth app has it all. The Truth is on 1017 and 1510 WGKB Waukesha, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
You are watching a master at work.
Truth Nation, get ready for the greatest 60 minutes in radio, giving you his authentic and bold opinions, bringing you all the information, entertainment, and conversations you gotta hear. From local issues to trending topics and headline news, it is time for Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is your award-winning host, Kyle Wallace.
Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I'm your host of Truth to Power, Kyle Wallace, and we're coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. This will be the greatest 60 minutes in radio. You could call in or text in at 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talking text line. Again, that is 833-212-1017 to join in on today's conversation. Share your thoughts on today's conversation because, Truth Nation is going to be a good one. It is going to be a good one. You can also watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That is 1017 The Truth on YouTube, where you can give us a like, you can give us a share, you can give us a subscribe, so you don't miss any of your favorite award-winning 1017 The Truth shows. Shout out to DJ Brother Z holding it down on the ones and the twos. And shout out to you, Truth Nation. Before we get into it, the deposition for Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton are taking place. Hillary Clinton's deposition paused after a photo from closed-door interview posted online. That's going to be some good stuff. They said, we want to talk about Epstein. So if they talk about Epstein, guess what? Trump got to talk about Epstein too. It's going to be interesting, and hopefully people get the stuff we deserve and the information we deserve. But with that being said, Truth Nation, again, you can watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Make sure y'all give us a like. Make sure y'all give us a subscribe. Shout out to you all in the 1017 The YouTube chat. I appreciate y'all chiming in. But let's get to it off the top.
Y'all know what time it is. It's time for Off the Top on Truth to Power. Kyle, let Truth Nation know what you got to get off your chest today.
Truth Nation, Juneteenth is canceled. It's canceled. Juneteenth has been canceled. And I wanted to take these last 2 days to talk about Black History Month and how Juneteenth has been canceled. Now, I'll get to why I'm yelling Juneteenth has been canceled. It'll all connect. It'll all make sense. Trust me, y'all know I like to just lay a little Breadcrumbs. What is it? Breadcrumbs. There it is. Why you don't shake your head like that? I ain't the smartest. I like to let a little breadcrumbs.
Made up 2 words.
DJ Brother Z looks disgusted. I'm sorry I didn't go to Reagan High School. Dang. But for real though, I think it's so important for us to take these last 2 days of Black History Month to talk about our community and talk about the barriers that we have to face and the barriers that we have overcome. And I honestly believe the resilience that we have shown as a people is like none other in this country. I really believe that. You're talking about 30+ million people who are descendants from slaves, who are thriving and succeeding in a society that was designed for us to fail in. That's what this is. And I mean, we're living in a time where simply recognizing the need to be included is now becoming taboo or political football. I want to say my identity is not a game because in my mind it's not a game. My accomplishments are not a result of anything but my hard work, not anything being handed to me. But unfortunately, we live in a world, we live in a society, we live in a nation that looks at my accomplishments, looks at Brother Z's accomplishments and thinks that something was handed to us. Now, again, like I just said, what I say, crumb bread, whatever it was, I may not be the most intelligent. And some things you can't control. I can't control the level of intelligence I have. I can read as many books as I want to. I can study as much as I want. But some people just naturally brighter than others. But when it comes to effort, when it comes to attention to detail, when it comes to dedication, that's something that's all a choice. And I choose to emphasize the things that I control. And against all odds, we as Black folks, we find a way to still succeed despite the many barriers that we have to overcome. Especially here in Milwaukee, when we talk about the success and leadership of that we have now. Though I may not love everything the leaders do in Milwaukee, but I will say Mayor Cavalier Johnson is a Black man, mayor of Milwaukee. Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley is a Black man, county executive of Milwaukee County. Mandela Barnes is currently atop the Democratic gubernatorial polls and former lieutenant governor of the state of Wisconsin, Black man. We have succeeded despite the pushback that we have gotten and that has persisted. And I bring this up because we need to know that we are still in a battle for our equality in 2026. We have to deal with ignorant, arrogant people like this individual who I'm going to play next, who has no idea what the heck he is talking about. He is the mayor of Post Falls, Idaho. His name is Randy Westland. Randy Westland, they had a committee meeting. And during this committee meeting, they brought up holidays and they brought up Juneteenth. And Randy Westland said he is canceling Juneteenth. Go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube to see the video from the Post Falls, Idaho Common Council member, where the mayor of Post Falls in Idaho decided that Juneteenth was canceled, and he told you why. Go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube or turn up your radio to figure out why Juneteenth is canceled.
The list of city holidays and restoring Columbus Day, which I believe is a more appropriate holiday honoring our American heritage.
I move to approve the amendment to the personnel policy and holiday schedule.
Second.
A motion in multiple seconds. Further discussion?
I do have one comment on it.
Oh, sorry.
Juneteenth celebrates the actual end of slavery in the United States. And the abolition of slavery, I believe, is one of the crowning achievements of Western civilization and is certainly worthy of celebration. On the flip side, North America, as we know it, in the United States entirely would not exist if it were not for the expeditions of Christopher Columbus and other European explorers, which are also worth celebrating. So I don't know if you would consider doing an every other year type of thing, but I think both are very relevant to our history and worth celebrating.
I don't want to change the holiday schedule up. I think that's a lot of complexity. My own view is that Juneteenth is something that nobody had heard of until 5 years ago and was pushed for political purposes. And so I'm not in favor of having that in.
That man right there was elected to be a mayor of a whole entire city in Idaho. And he doesn't even know basic history. What a disgrace for him not to know basic history, basic American history. Randy Westland is a disgrace to his community, the state of Idaho in this country because he disrespected American history. I take American pride seriously. And the fact that this man sat up there and told everybody he doesn't know American history is embarrassing. His view is that Juneteenth was a holiday that no one had heard of until 5 years ago, and that it was pushed for political purposes. That's what this man's belief was. Truth Nation, that should infuriate you, but also at the same time, it should open your eyes. It should make you feel a little positive, because at this point now, you fully understand what goes through some people's minds and how some people think. The mayor said the quiet part out loud, what many white individuals actually feel. Heck, I believe U.S. Senator Ron Johnson, who was supposed to be on today, but he canceled. Haven't heard back from his people. Grace, I'm waiting. That's his secretary. Ron Johnson, who represents the state of Wisconsin, he initially opposed Juneteenth becoming a national holiday, and he likely felt the same way as this Mayor Westland of Idaho felt. They believe Juneteenth is a made-up holiday. They believe that Juneteenth isn't what makes America great, even though Juneteenth is the fabric of what makes America great, because it talks about the progress of our country. If your country isn't growing, if it isn't progressing, then it's probably dying. In the freeing of slaves, all the slaves, is something that should be celebrated in American history. The problem is they care about celebrating the parts of history that make whites feel comfortable and ignoring the parts that don't. Do you think it's comfortable for me to have to talk about slavery? Do you think it was comfortable for me to have to see videos of old slaves talk about what they went through? Do you think it's comfortable for me to have to admit that my great-great-grandfather was used as a footstool because he was enslaved? Do y'all think that's cool? That's not. So if I have to still face some of the passed down trauma through my family, it's only right that we educate ourselves to ensure that this never happens. Now, meanwhile, when all this is happening, a gentleman on the Common Council in Idaho, he spoke so well about why Juneteenth is important, and he asked for a compromise. He said, let's alternate the years. He asked for a compromise because he didn't want to diminish the pioneers who explored North America. He tried to find a compromise, and the mayor dismissed it and called it a fake political holiday. This is America, Truth Nation. How do we truly progress as a people when we're dealing with leadership like this? And y'all know me, I get upset about stuff. I was disappointed in this. I was. So you know what I did? Brother Z, you know what I did? I called them. I sure did. I called him. I left a voicemail and letting them know that I'm more than happy to educate him on Juneteenth, and even more happy to invite him to our Juneteenth celebration. Now, in addition to that, I said, well, let me try to find this man's email, and I found it. I found Randy Westland's email, and if you want it, I'll share it with you because, it's public. You can find the email as well. You can just email him, and this is what my email read, because y'all know I'm a nice guy. I said, good morning, Mayor Westland. I hope you're having a great day. My name is Kyle Walsh, and I'm a radio host at 1017 The Truth in Milwaukee. I recently saw your video in which you referred to Juneteenth as a political holiday that you only heard of about 5 years ago. While that may reflect your personal experience, I wanted to share additional context about the deep historical and cultural significance of Juneteenth in American history. For the past 55 years, the city of Milwaukee has proudly celebrated Juneteenth with a parade followed by a community-wide street festival. This long-standing tradition brings together residents of all races and backgrounds to commemorate freedom, unity, and our shared American history. It is a meaningful and positive event that highlights education, reflection, and community connection. I've included a short video that shares the history of Milwaukee's Juneteenth celebration, and I included a video that talked about the history of Juneteenth. And I said, additionally, I would welcome the opportunity to invite you to Milwaukee's 55th annual Juneteenth celebration. Your presence would demonstrate a commitment to learning unity, engagement within the broader community. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Signed, Kyle Wallace. And then I put the guy who tried to protect Juneteenth. I CC'd him. Zach shaking his head because he know damn well I I'm more than happy to send these emails, and I hope he gets back to me. And I'm so serious when I say that, because I can't blame somebody for what they don't know. If he only learns history from what he hears in the news, that's not his fault. That's the failed education system in Idaho. That's the failed education system across this country. Hell, there's some people in the state of Wisconsin that didn't know what Juneteenth was. There's people in Milwaukee County, in areas right around here in downtown Milwaukee, that folks didn't know what Juneteenth was, and that ain't always their fault. So I'm in every word that I said, and I hope I hope I get a response, and I hope he does join us. And I hope he reconsiders so the folks in Post Falls, Idaho, can learn something that he didn't growing up, learn about Juneteenth and the importance that is in American history. But the issue I have overall, Truth Nation, is that this should be a wake-up call that these are the people that are getting elected in this country. This man is in leadership. This man gets to decide what gets acknowledged and what doesn't. This man has influence over how history is framed and potentially what is emphasized in educational spaces in Post Falls, Idaho. And yes, I understand it's 2026, but what we have to understand that we don't have Jim Crow laws in effect now, but we are living in a time where white nationalism is on the rise and nobody is stopping it. It is being normalized. People are talking about white pride, and I don't know what white pride means, but it's openly promoted. When you hear DEI is dead from the President of the United States, that sends a signal. It signals to certain white Americans, don't concern yourselves with diversity. Don't prioritize fostering a safe and welcoming workplace. Don't challenge your biases if doing so feels uncomfortable or threatening the existence of power structures. If you don't feel good doing it, don't do it. And that's from the top down. It's unfortunate because it doesn't include all of us. America is a melting pot that should include all of us. But when you have language and rhetoric like that, this is how you end up with a guy who is literally a mayor of a town in Idaho who says Juneteenth was a fake, made-up holiday that is political, and he only heard of it 5 years ago. And what he did was he took his personal experience and extrapolated it out to include everybody as if that is the reality. So that's why I felt it was so important to send the email, and I forwarded the email that was sent from Northcott Neighborhood Center talking about their Juneteenth celebration. So he can see that though he may have only heard of it 5 years ago, in the city of Milwaukee that I am in the city that we all love, and the city that we represent here on 101.7 The Truth, we've been celebrating it for 55 years, and everybody is welcome. Truth Nation, we are fighting an uphill battle in this country, right here, even in Milwaukee. And I don't think we fully grasp how far we are from the top of that hill. How can a city that celebrates black culture, black heritage, and black faces and leadership still have so many black residents living in despair, struggling? How can we remain one of the most segregated cities in the country and not do anything about it? 833-212-1017. Is America still racist? That's what I want to know. How can black Americans overcome the discrimination we face in this country? How do we start the process here in America, and what does it look like? This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. I'm going to continue on next, but I do want to hear from you all. Is America racist? And how do we overcome the discrimination we face? And when do we start the process of building black Milwaukee? It's Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. I'll take your calls and texts next.
More of Truth to Power is next on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Listen Fridays to Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris during Black History Month for Dr. Ken's Trivia. It's not just questions, it's culture, facts they don't teach you, and a few stories that matter. We'll test what you know and teach each other something new along the way. Lock in your Fridays in February. Be ready to call in and bring your brain with you. Dr. Ken's Trivia, Friday in February on Truth in the Afternoon with me, Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth, YouTube, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
I walk on the shoulders of giants who have come before me.
I am grateful for those who changed yesterday.
But I live in today.
And I pledge I will help shape tomorrow.
Milwaukee College Prep Scholars honor Black History Month not just during February, but each and every day they walk through the door, preparing for a better life for themselves and the world around them. Enroll your scholar at MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your family's tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
It is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
During Steinhoffel's Make It Your Own event, creating furniture that fits your style is easy. Choose your fabric, style, your finish, and add details that make it yours. Right now at Steinhoffel's, you'll save at least 10% off store-wide. Then you can take an extra 5% off special orders or in-stock items, $9.99 or more. And if you need design help, you can get up to $200 off Steinhoffel's Decorating Solutions packages. Shop in-store or online at steinhoffels.com. It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I'm your host, the Truth to Power, Kyle Wallace, and we're coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in Milwaukee. You can watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That is 1017 The Truth on YouTube. You can give us a like, you can give us a share, and you can give us a subscribe as we talk about the importance of Black history and the fact that a mayor in Post Falls, Idaho, believes that Juneteenth is a fake political holiday, and he only heard of it 5 years ago, and that he refused to celebrate Juneteenth in his community every other year because of his beliefs that it's a fake holiday. I sent this mayor an email. I left him a voicemail letting him know, inviting him first and foremost to come on and celebrate the 55th annual Juneteenth celebration here in Milwaukee, because that's what we do. And I sent him an email letting him know the importance of Juneteenth in American history. But it made me just be reminded that sometimes I think there's a misconception that when we celebrate Black history, they think we're excluding ourselves from American history, when in reality, people need to understand that this is just a month that brings to the forefront and it highlights the Black Americans who have made American history. We're not excluding ourselves from being American. We're just highlighting and emphasizing the differences and the impacts Black Americans have made. Again, key word, Black Americans. And I also think there's this misconception that through our celebration that we don't like America. I have said it before, and I will always say it. I love America, and Black people love America. Because if we didn't, we as Black people have every reason historically and currently to burn this country to the ground. The thing that is keeping us from doing it is the fact that we are optimistic people and that the freedoms that this country represents will one day extend to us. We are optimistic and we believe that will happen. Truth Nation, that is the mentality and that is the mindset of a true American. Despite all of the hate, despite all of the people trying to keep you down and push you down, You still persevere and you still have hopes that the American dream that everybody talks about will one day reach you despite being in this country for 250 plus years. 833-212-1017. Is America still racist? How can we in Milwaukee embrace our black heritage and black culture and find a way to build ourselves up from some of the struggles that we have? How can we overcome discrimination, specifically here in the city of Milwaukee? 833-212-1017. Deysha, you're on the award-winning 1017, The Truth.
How you doing, Kyle?
Blessed. Thank you so much for calling. I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing well, too. I don't know if you remember, but I actually met you at the Truth Community Awards.
On Friday, yeah. Ceremony. I remember.
Yeah. yeah. It's nice to speak with you again.
Ma'am, working on a great organization.
Yes, I am. Yep, and I'm continuing working on it every single day. Mm-hmm. So look out for it. It will come soon.
Love it.
But just to answer the question, is America still racist? That's a resounding yes. Yes, America is still racist. It's kind of hard sometimes to just walk outside and be black, you know? And that's unfortunate because we have been working hard on, you know, of course, combating against discrimination, combating against segregation, still to this day in our own city, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You know, we still have police profiling, redlining. You know, we still have, unfortunately, MPS being funded the way it is, and we know that MPS definitely educates majority of the black and brown students in this city.
I will say that really quickly. 57% of the black students in the state of Wisconsin get educated right here in the city of Milwaukee. That's for the whole state. 57% of the students, black students, are educated right here in Milwaukee.
Wow, that's still a lot. That's still a lot, and you know, to me, it's like what. I don't think I would be a sane person to deny that there still isn't, of course, systematic racism out throughout basically our city and even just our country, period. And I don't know how we as a people are definitely fighting, but we can't fight by ourselves if the opposing side or the people who are creating the oppression don't even see us as humans.
That is,
you know,
so true.
The root of it, we were slaves to them. We were property. We were 3/5 of a human. So to go from being 3/5 of a human to now having power, yeah, they're going to create systems and ways and every other undermining way they can think of to make sure to remind us that they view us as less than. So we're doing everything we're supposed to be doing as a people. We're not retaliating because if we did, not a single. I believe that not a single house will go unturned if we really did. But we're not doing that because, like you said, we have optimism. We have love that we carry in our hearts. And I truly believe that was given to us by our Creator, God.
I believe
but we are not trying to sit up there and do the same thing they did back to us. But yet we're trying to fight. It's like we're trying to fight with people that just don't see us. So
I feel
I'm not saying it's a losing battle. But I am saying that it has been a very hard uphill battle, and it will only help if those people would start viewing us as if we also don't bleed, you know, as if we also don't, you know, go to sleep every day, as if we also don't have children, you know, as if we're also not trying to make legacies as well, too. It really does start with them also viewing us as humans.
And I'm right there with you, Deysha. I do agree with that, and I'll definitely touch on that. And I think that's the biggest thing is that until you are viewed as somebody's equal, they won't give you a fair shot. And that is what I believe we run into here in America. And so when I saw this, and I'll read your text again, you guys can watch and stream us live on YouTube. You can call in and text in at 833-212-1017. As I asked the question, is America still racist? And how can we as black Milwaukeeans and black Americans overcome discrimination we face in this country? How do we start that process here in Milwaukee, and what does it look like? And so when I see videos like this, it just reminds me of the battle that we're up against. And it's the reason why I have so much frustration with the fact that our Common Council is majority black. Right. I don't think it's not majority black. I mean, majority, but 7 of the 15 are black. And so it bothers me that we have people in these places, that in powerful places, where I know they're trying. I know they're trying. But sometimes you got to be a jerk about your efforts. Sometimes you gotta stand on business. And when I say stand on business, I mean saying ain't nothing moving until we get this move. And ain't nothing wrong with exposing people. I would rather be the enemy of the Common Council and expose anything. And when I say that, if I was in the Common Council, I would rather be the enemy in the Common Council and call out that they weren't trying to pass something because they didn't like me, than sit back and allow for our people to be harassed or not have an equal opportunity. But when I hear stuff like this coming out of the mouth of somebody in Idaho, yeah, that's in Idaho. That's many, many states over. Very small population. Hell, the city of Milwaukee County probably got the same population as the state of Idaho. DJ Brothers, you look that up for me. I'm pretty sure it's about the same. But it's still the mentality that man has. It's a mentality that your neighbor may have. A mentality that your coworker may have right here in the city of Milwaukee. So we have to understand the way that other people think, so we can really progress, so we know how to work the system, so we know how to demand for our equality. But 833-212-1017. Robert, what are your thoughts on today's conversation? How do we overcome these barriers of discrimination and racism in this country?
Well, I want to say that racism is an ancient thing. It's been since Esau and Jacob. And the thing about this country is that they know that. But the boldness and the arrogance of the racism is that they do not want to be second by any means necessary, and they know that their time of rulership is coming to an end. It's a biblical thing, and I know most people don't like to talk about religion, but you can't get around it. And the fact of the matter is they don't like the book, but they believe the book. They know that word is true, and they know that their time is coming soon, so they're doing everything they can to stay in power as long as they can, which is not very long. And we are a forgiving people because we're God's people. It's in our nature. It's in our whole being to be forgiven. And all I can say is this. Read the story about Esau and Jacob, and that'll show you the whole thing because they know the story. You guys have a great day. God bless, and keep up the great work, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Robert. I appreciate that. 833-212-1017. Again, I just felt like it is important for us to have a conversation like this because we're in Black History Month, and we're just living in very interesting times where there is an effort to try to suppress any celebration that has to do with Black culture, Black heritage. A little over a year ago, when Doge was going through and the Trump administration was going through, they were taking down things that they felt was connected to DEI to the point where Jackie Robinson, who not only was the first Black person to break the color barrier in Major League Baseball, but also was a military veteran. And they took down something that represented Jackie Robinson because they felt like it was DEI. So I just need us to understand that this is the motion right now. This is the movement. And as the gubernatorial race starts to heat up and as we get to the summertime, you're going to start seeing more things. You're going to see Tom Tiffany start saying more things. And you're going to see things that are going to be anti-you, Truth Nation, anti-me, Truth Nation. And if you're not Black, anti your beliefs of understanding the importance of equity and inclusion and diversity. That is going to be the message. And so I think it's important for us to expose the mentality of people like this dude in Idaho because it isn't just in Idaho that people feel that way. There are people right here in Milwaukee that feel that Juneteenth is a fake holiday because they never heard of it. It was a political holiday because they never heard of it. But 833-212-1017. Charles, before we go to break, what are your thoughts on today's conversation?
Well, I think, doing all the stuff like this, God talks to us. And sometimes he tells you that you don't need somebody else to celebrate what you believe in. Like you said, we've been celebrating Juneteenth for 55 years. I don't need it to be a holiday. Every Juneteenth, whether it's on the calendar or not, we're going to celebrate it. White folks don't ask you to celebrate their holiday. They take their holiday. And that's what you do. We don't need nobody to put it on the calendar. We celebrate it because it's about us. Just like when the food stamp thing happened. To me, that was God telling you to take care of your people. You don't need nobody else to do it for you. You don't need nobody to give you recognition. We are recognition enough in ourselves. So all I believe is that stop asking somebody else to give us something and take what's ours by ourselves. Like I said, everywhere Juneteenth is celebrated, we've been celebrating it. Anybody that says they don't know about Juneteenth because you're not black.
Now, Charles, I do have a question for you. Does it concern you at all with the rhetoric that we have on a national level, on a national scale, where you have mayors in different communities? Again, there's probably black people in Idaho. I know there's black people in Idaho. But does it worry you and concern you that this could be a message that could be pushed over the next year or 2 years where people are trying to diminish exactly what American history is when it comes to black history?
When have they ever not?
I get that. Enough said. That's true. No, Charles is right. When have they ever not? 833-212-1017. Again, that is the Truth Talking text line. I'll take your calls. I'll take your texts. I see some of your messages. I will get to those. You can also watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. And we're just having a conversation about the importance of Black History Month. And the reason why Black History Month and highlighting Black history is so important is because you have stories like we have out of Idaho where a mayor of a whole town, whole community, somebody got elected, said that Juneteenth is a fake political holiday that he only heard of 5 years ago, so they didn't want to celebrate it because of his personal experience versus the reality of what Juneteenth meant to this country. 833-212-1017. We'll continue on with the conversation on the other side.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
It's time to plan for kindergarten. Will your child turn 3, 4, or 5 by September 1st? Learn about kindergarten programs and enroll now. Explore schools across the city that offer traditional kindergarten, Montessori, and more. MPS students enjoy art, music, physical education, along with reading, writing, math, and science. Find out about bus transportation and before and after school care. Enroll for fall 2026 by March 2nd. Get the details at mpsmke.com/enroll.
Breaking down the issues that shape our city and our future.
The worst kind of whites, not that I'm picking on white folks, but you know how it goes, is the ones that think that they will lose something if this country becomes more fair and equal. I'm going to say that again. The worst kind of white people are the ones that think that if a black person gets a job and gets an opportunity, and they ignore how hard the black person had to work and the racism, the bigotry, and the discrimination, and just how people turn their noses up at smart black people. They hate us. And the black person works really hard and overcomes maybe generational curses of poor health and poverty and all of those things. And we got to deal with the police and the criminal justice system that doesn't often have our backs. And then the black person gets a job, gets an opportunity, and a white person sees that and thinks that they lost. Those are the worst kind.
It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 to noon. Catch it live on YouTube or tune in to 1017 The Truth.
Many of our most important memories are made at school. But for children like Victoria, the classroom can be a place of fear and isolation. She wore a bandage over her cleft every day, too shy to speak, too afraid to smile. Everything changed after one life-transforming surgery made possible by Smile Train. Today, Victoria's smile lights up her classroom, a symbol of confidence, connection, and new beginnings. Due to stigma, children with untreated clefts often miss out on school entirely. But thanks to Smile Train, students like Victoria are stepping into the classroom, raising their hands, and finding their voice. Smile Train partners with local experts to support with free cleft surgeries and other comprehensive care, empowering children to thrive in school and in life. Let's help every child walk into the classroom with confidence. Visit smiletrain.org/learn.
This SportsCenter update on 1017 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Andrew Zimmel. The Milwaukee Bucks were able to hang on to a 118-116 win against the Cleveland Cavaliers on Wednesday night after a shot from Jared Allen just came a second late.
Oh, no, it's still in his hand. I thought he got it off in time, in real time, but the replay clearly shows the ball still in Jared Allen's hand.
After review, it would be no basket.
Kevin Porter Jr. had 20 points with Ryan Rollins adding 18. Head coach Doc Rivers after the win.
Because this is a big response for us. You know, this is what we haven't done this year, where we could have gave in and we didn't.
The UWM Panthers end the regular season with a win against Youngstown State, 78-65, to finish the season 12-19 and go into the Horizon League tournament as a 9 seed matched up against Robert Morris. The Panthers split the season series. This True Sports Update was brought to you by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Andrew Zimmel.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
One call, that's all with Gruber Law Offices. If your loved one is ever injured in an accident, do what I did and call Gruber Law Offices. Somebody hit my car from behind. My back was all messed up. I made one call, that's all, to Gruber Law Offices, and they truly took care of me. I didn't have to go back and forth with the insurance companies. I didn't have to do all that. I called Gruber, and they got me set up with my physical therapy appointments. They handled everything I needed. They made sure I had a vehicle. I was well taken care of, and they got me the money I deserve. I didn't have to go back and forth. They fought for me, and that's exactly what they do. They stand up for victims, and they take the burden off your shoulders, and they focus on the legal aspect so we as clients can focus on healing. And what I love about them, y'all, is there's no fee to call. There's no fee to consult with them. There's no fee to retain them as a law firm. You never pay a single penny until Gruber Law Offices wins their case, and they have a track record that speaks for themselves. So if you or a loved one is ever injured in an accident, make one call, that's all, to Gruber Law Offices by calling them at 414-276-6666. That's 414-276-6666, or visit them at gruber-law.com. It is one call, that's all, with Gruber Law Offices. It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. And today, this conversation started from a video that I saw that I understand that the video was from Idaho. It's the mayor of Idaho. It's a town in Idaho. Now, I emailed the mayor letting him know that he was, hey, here's an opportunity to be educated. But the video was during a Common Council meeting where the mayor said we won't be celebrating Juneteenth moving forward because Juneteenth is a fake, made-up political holiday that only came about, that he only heard of 5 years ago, and he only wants to focus on American history. I took exception to that because here in Milwaukee, I know that we have been celebrating Juneteenth for 55 years. And understanding American history, I know that Juneteenth represents the time and the finally where this country no longer had enslaved people, which is so important because that was when this country finally had an opportunity, didn't, but at that moment had an opportunity to live up to the ideals that the founding fathers initially started or wanted by giving us all our freedom. In Truth Nation, when we think about black history and we think about where we're at, now more than ever, we need black history because we are up against a machine that has no barriers. America, which is our America, celebrates 250 years of the Declaration of Independence and the start of the fight for freedom this year. That's what this is, 250 years ago. And as we celebrate 250 years, we have to acknowledge that over 250 years before our freedom, the first slaves landed in Virginia in 1526. And since that very moment, we as black people have been treated as second-class citizens, and America refuses to do everything it needs to right the wrongs or the evil of our hateful history here in America. And as we celebrate, as some would say, controversial Black History Month, I want to talk about progress. Have we made enough progress? We've been free for 150 years, but for some reason we still haven't caught up. We haven't caught up to the rich and the wealthy. We haven't gotten to where we need to be as a race. Why is that? Why have we not caught up? A lot of people will say it's because if it's our own fault. A lot of people say it's because we didn't pick ourselves up by our bootstraps. Some people will say, use the stereotype that black people are lazy. But what's crazy is when they say all this, they will ignore and never acknowledge the conditions that were created and the circumstances that created us being in the place that we are in the first place. That's how you bring justice, is when you recognize things like that. How do you keep people locked up physically, economically, politically for hundreds of years? How do you enslave them and then segregate them and then criminalize them and then over-police us And then when we finally get our freedom, you limit our access to housing, you limit our access to education, you limit our access to capital, you limit our access to opportunities. And at times in this country, you even threaten us with violence for even trying to get our freedom. So when I look at American history and I look at how do we actually get what we deserve, we got to continue to fight for it. Because we got generations of people who have been forced to live in survival mode. You got people who had to live in fear, people who were denied stability, people who were denied the ability to build and pass down wealth. And then you turn around and ask, why haven't we advanced farther? That question ignores history. So this is why it's important for us to have 1017 The Truth, but it's important for us to talk about things that are happening in other places, because what happens in other places, these conversations that happen when we are not in the room, are thoughts and mindsets of many people in this country and people who live in our community. We were part of a government system that created policies that were designed to exclude us. Y'all know about redlining, blocking families from owning homes in certain neighborhoods. My family here in Milwaukee and many families faced that. My grandparents had to go up against redlining, so they had to get a house in a different way. You have sentencings of laws that disproportionately fill prisons with black bodies. You have school funding models that are tied to property taxes, knowing full well we have been denied the opportunity to own a lot of properties. Again, I don't think any of that was an accident. It was intentional. Now, I do believe in the fact that we need to take personal accountability, because I am one that always gets up here and talks about personal accountability. I do. And I think a lot of us have to make the right choices. But it's hard for us, and we cannot talk about accountability without talking about access. You cannot suppress opportunities for generations and then act surprised when disparities show up. And that's what we have is, you have an administration that sees these disparities show up and act like they don't need to do anything to fix it. You can't handicap someone at the starting line and then criticize how fast they run. If we're going to have real conversations about progress, we got to have full conversations about how we progress. We have to acknowledge the barriers when we have to talk about solutions. And when you hear somebody in Idaho, and again, yes, that's Idaho. But when you hear a white man in Idaho, he is a mayor of a community, talking about things that don't exist, such as Juneteenth, even though we know Juneteenth exists. And yes, it wasn't called Juneteenth back in the 1800s, but it still represents something that is American history. We have to understand this is a mentality and a mindset of many. But 833-212-1017, we got two calls. Donte in Milwaukee, what are your thoughts on today's conversation?
Hey, how you doing, young man?
I'm doing all right, brother. Thanks for asking.
My thing is this. I understand and I overstand that once you keep looking over there for acceptance, once you keep looking over there for them to give us what we know what it is, why can't we celebrate without their approval? It seems like we still waiting for master's approval. We can celebrate Juneteenth without their common council or anybody else common council giving us permission. And then you were talking about the thing with segregation. Everybody didn't want to live next door to them.
Mm-hmm.
That was Martin Luther King thing. But if you peep what Martin Luther King said before he passed away, he said, "I think I led my people into the fire."
Burning house.
We don't want to live next door to you. Well, I don't want you to educate my kids. I don't want to work for you. We have to do self-independence. Now I understand. The white dude in Idaho said that he doesn't know about Juneteenth, and who actually cares? We celebrate our holidays without anyone else's approval. If we start moving without anyone else's approval, we'll be all right.
Thank you so much, Donte. I hear you. Definitely a great conversation. If we start moving without anybody else's approval, we will be all right. 833-212-1017. Miss Sandra, what are your thoughts on today's conversation?
Hi.
Hey, Miss Sandra.
Well, my thoughts is the thing is, number one, every time they start something negative, they have to use racism. And this works for them. Every time they put racism in their little acts that they're doing, they're behind the closed doors plotting up this stuff, and they keep us focused as to their illiterate, stupid stuff where they're steady tearing down. Now, you got the data centers coming. I don't even think people really read about those things. They're building, Elon Musk came and took all our information. They're going to put in data centers, and they're going to know every move we make, how we spend our money, who we owe. And if we don't pay our bills, they will be able to take our money and pay the bills and stuff like that. So all this stuff is a spy machine. They're trying to keep us disfocused. That mayor, he knew about Juneteenth Day, so that ain't no problem. We need to get in the backyards or back whatever and plot our schemes just like they're plotting theirs, because they're just full of it. They're full of it. And more is yet to come. Like, he's got a hold of DEI, affirmative action. Now he's blocking, these people can't do anything at school about, say, black and all this stuff, and it's stupid. I mean, it's stupid stuff. You know, they all are, and they're all in cahoots together. And we need to be in cahoots to take care of our people together.
I think that's your powerful period. We need to be in cahoots to take care of our people together. I agree. I 100% agree. 833-212-1017. That's the Truth Talking text line. You can watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. You can give us a like. You can give us a share. You can give us a subscribe. But I do want to address the thought of we don't need their approval. We don't need their acceptance. I agree. But I do have a thought on what they can do, will do, and what I will allow them to do. Keep it locked, because I'm going to tell y'all why I think it is so important that we will not allow them to say that they're not going to celebrate Juneteenth, and I'll tell you why next.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Thank you, Milwaukee. Because of you, the second annual Truth Community Awards was an unforgettable celebration of the leaders, changemakers, and heroes who make our city shine. A special thank you to our incredible partners, Milwaukee College Prep, the Milwaukee Bucks Foundation, Gruber Law Offices, Steinhoffels, Cousins Subs, and 3rd Street Market Hall. And thank you to our presenting sponsor, Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Together, we're celebrating community, culture, and impact. We'll see you next year at the Truth Community Awards.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about 4 walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your families tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
What's up, everybody? March 27th, go get your tickets. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be me, Finesse Antetokounmpo, my co-host, Tony C, and Nature Boy. Woo! Ric Flair. It's going to be nice. It's going to be dope. You guys are going to love it. It's going to be an experience, and we're going to have a lot of fun. It's basically a party/podcast.
Yeah, we're throwing a party at the Riverside, March 27th, TALiveshow.com. Who's the guest again? Can I get a woo? Woo! With Ric Flair. Can't wait.
See you guys.
Join me every Friday at 11 a.m. for the Milwaukee Experience with Sherwin Hughes, presented by Visit Milwaukee. We're a city that knows how to celebrate, where the calendar is packed with festivals, the plates are piled high with flavor, and a lakefront sunrise sets the stage. Here in Milwaukee, every street leads to something worth savoring, a place that welcomes you with open arms and where joy is shared in bites, beats, and cheers. The Milwaukee Experience every Friday at 11 a.m. exclusively on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, presented by Visit Milwaukee.
You are listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app. Catch Truth to Power every weekday from noon to 1 p.m.
1, 2, 3, ho!
It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. You can watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. You can give us a like, you can give us a share, and you can give us a subscribe. Now, we had somebody call in today who talked about the fact that we don't need the approval from white people, which you are damn right. We don't need the approval from white people to be able to do what we want to do. We sure don't. But this is what I am against. I am against allowing for racism to persist. I am against for allowing racism to win. And if we lay down and let them win, we will never fully get the equality that we want. Again, I understand that somebody not celebrating Juneteenth in the city in the state of Idaho doesn't impact me here in the city of Milwaukee, but we have to understand the power of a message. This is a monkey see, monkey do world where a lot of these folks have been emboldened by the rhetoric coming out of the White House that makes them feel like they can diminish things like Juneteenth. And I don't believe it is okay for people to diminish American history because it is part of Black history. I think it is extremely disrespectful for them to sit up there and say, oh, Juneteenth is a fake political holiday. How about you educate yourself? So we cannot allow for folks to sit up there and push that narrative, because all that does is it gets pushed down to others. And then now you got a whole generation of people that are going to be saying, oh, Juneteenth is fake, Juneteenth is fake. And it makes future generations of Black kids, they have to deal with the fight that we're dealing with now with trying to prove, no, this is a real thing. You got to nip racism in the bud in the moment. You got to stop it in the moment. And ain't y'all tired of hearing some of this mess? Ain't y'all tired of hearing people try to act like we don't exist, like our history doesn't exist? So that's why when I hear people say nonsense like that, I want to fight back against it. I want to push back against it, because I'll be damned if you walk around saying that's not something that's not true. That's just how I operate. Yeah, I could be successful without having to deal with the white man, sure. But until we come together as a collective, we as Black people, specifically here in Milwaukee, we can't do it without bringing other people into the fold. Until we make a decision and we become united and say, we ain't going to allow these people in our neighborhood to open up this business. We're not going to spend our money at that organization. We're going to keep it all in-house. We're going to continue to recycle the dollar in other people's pockets. So that's why when I hear stuff like Juneteenth is canceled here and it's a fake holiday, I'll bring it to y'all, because that ain't real. That's not true. And we cannot stand for that. But it has been Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. We'll continue conversations tomorrow celebrating Black history. Also, Mayor Cavalier Johnson, he put the hammer down on folks. And we're going to talk about that coming up tomorrow. Thank y'all so much. The Tory Lowe Show is up next for 1 to 4. Peace out. I love y'all. Talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you, Milwaukee. Because of you, the second annual Truth Community Awards was an unforgettable celebration of the